Are you looking to expand your mind? Do you like to challenge and be challenged? Looking to improve yourself and share your experiences professionally and personally? You're in the right place. Welcome to Scoutcast, Roasting Marshmallows, with your host, Rolf Surd.
And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Scoutcast. My name is Rolf Surd and I'll be your host. So a few episodes ago, we had Patrick de Veer of Greenaumatic as our guest to talk about his view on sustainability and his throw at becoming the Minister of New Economy in the Netherlands. And so today we're talking about basically the same subjects, but this time with a different guest who's also going for the Minister of New Economy, Bart Joling. So Bart Joling is a co-founder of TenStripes, a marketing agency in the Netherlands, specialized in providing strategy and execution for sustainable organizations. He's a committed believer in telling stories through data, and he's initiator of the Impact Project, and he's a promoter of impact marketing. And we're going to be hearing all about that stuff in this podcast, so bear with us. And he's also a world traveler. So his mission is helping people grow and organizations flourish every day with a big smile on his face and a lot of fun. Modern leadership, long-term thinking, and collaboration are keywords here. His subject, Marketing 3.0, and his ambition, the best marketing agency in Europe specialized in sustainability. And as of late, a candidate for Minister of the New Economy in the Netherlands. So Bart, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Nice having me, and what a wonderful introduction. It's one of the best introductions I've ever had.
So, oh, really? So
a good start.
Well, thanks. I've been working on it. So some of the feedback we got from our listeners was that the introductions that I did was a bit too little. So I made an extra effort this time. So I'm glad you like it. So another guest that we have here today is a regular on the show, Panche Gastiowski. I hope I pronounced your name right, Panche.
Oh, excellent, Rolf. Excellent.
Oh, nice.
Thanks for not butchering it.
So, Panche, I'm sorry, I do not have such a nice introduction for you, but I'm sure the listeners know you very well by now.
I feel very disappointed this time, so I hope that next time you will have something so epic. I'm kind of jealous of Bart now.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's have some discussion. So, Bart, you co-founded TenStripes in the past. So, could you give us a little bit of an introduction about your company and what it is that you do?
Well, before I was at the point where I'm now, there is some history, and if it's okay, I want to tell something about my story as an entrepreneur.
Yes, of course, please.
Well, actually, I moved from Assen, the capital of Drenthe, to...
that's where I live, man. Represent.
Right. Cool. For my studies, commercial economy. And during my studies, I had several side jobs, and at some point, I ended as a fundraiser for charity. So I was fundraising for charities like UNICEF, the Dutch Cancer Council, WWF, and I was making money because of people asking on the streets, would you give something like 10 euros for the charity? And I was pretty good at it. So and I made money because I sold more pledges.
Yep.
And because I was pretty good at it, the founders of the company asked me, Bart, would you like to start your own establishment?
Yeah.
So I did in Enschede, and after a while, I started new teams, other establishments, and that was the first 5.5 years of my career. And later, I thought. I learned from my first 5.5 years in the fundraising business that I really like it to do something commercial, combined with doing some good for the world. And if you are raising funds, you're talking about UNICEF and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and the impact I had, I think I raised something like 50,000 pledges for UNICEF. So that's quite a while. After 5.5 years, I started to travel the world, like you said in the introduction, and I discovered how beautiful the world is, and also how unequal everything is divided in the world. And it was a beautiful time. I wouldn't have missed it. I've traveled to Asia and Australia, and 9 months, lots of fun.
Yeah.
Then I came back, and the founders of the company asked me, Bart, we have an online marketing agency. Would you like to make a business of it? So then I was the third employee, and when I left the company, we were with 25 employees. So in that point, I learned how to build a data-driven marketing agency. And then after 5.5 years, I decided to quit my job and start for myself. And then I met Gosse, one of the co-founders, and he wanted to start a marketing agency. I did it already twice, so I said, yeah, I would like to start an agency, but I have one thing I really want is do something with sustainability.
Okay.
And at that point, I had no clue whatever it means, but I had the thought I can combine something doing good for the world, combining with something what I'm good at is marketing. So there we started a TenStripes journey. It's now 2.5 years ago, and we were with. Yesterday, I hired our 17th employee.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. And we're combining the strategy. So we help people formulate their mission statement, what's their vision, what are the core values, and we really see the mission, vision, and core values as the fundamentals of every business. So in the mindset, if you reach for the stars, you will hit the moon.
Yep.
And combine your mission with something doing good for the world, whatever that may be. And if we formulate a strategy, then we go to the execution and we help our clients to grow towards their mission.
Yeah, because like your core values, I looked it up on your websites. It says caring, authentic, and grow and prosper. And I'm assuming that grow and prosper is also what you mean for your clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. And how does the caring and authentic relate or come across to your clients then? Like what would I see of that?
If you look into our clients and the people who are managing our clients, they really care about the clients. And of course, we are an agency, so we have to be billable and stuff like that. But we look further than our nose long is, like we say in Dutch.
Okay.
And what I really see, and I can't say this did, but every day on the work floor, I feel that the people who are working for TenStripes really care about what we're doing, as well for employees, as well for our clients. And they want to take the extra mile. And I think that's really important at the end in your relationship with your clients.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just got so many questions out of this story of you, but I'm gonna just go with the first one, because you mentioned you just hired a 17th employee, which is really good. So when you look for new team members, for new people to join, how do you do that? What are you looking for in a person when you look for somebody to join your team?
The first thing we always look at is do they fit into our core values? And there are a lot of people who are applying for a job, but we think, this person is not authentic enough, or this is something who is looking for just as having a stable job and not go into the grow part. So yeah, that's the first thing we look at, and I think that makes us a really strong team.
And so you're very critical on the values and on the attitude of people above their technical skills or their history or their story.
Yeah, we look at the will based on core values before we look at the skill.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
And we had some people who had more skills probably, but we think they do not fit into our core values, so we picked someone else who fits great into the core values.
Good. Right. Well, good approach. And you mentioned something 2 years ago. You had this idea. Okay, I'm going to start this marketing agency. It needs to be something with sustainability. You didn't know what that actually meant at the time. What does it mean right now? And I'm pretty certain this idea is evolving. But what makes a company sustainable, and what does it mean for you or for TenStripes that being sustainable or sustainability?
To make it really simple, you have to look into the impact you make on people, planet, and profit. Nowadays, companies look only into the profit part, but it's you have to look at people, planet, and profit, and what's the impact you're making on these three things.
And how would you get that impact then? Like, because you mentioned something about data-driven stuff, like do you actually get numbers and say like, okay, the impact I'm having on planet is this number, or is that too black and white?
No, that's perfect black and white, and that's exactly what it is. The hard thing about sustainability, it's how to make it measurable, how to make your impact measurable, and that's pretty hard. But via a data-driven approach, you don't have to do it perfect right now, but you can learn and develop and grow during the process. So, yeah, as a company, we don't know what kind of impact we're making right now, because we have an impact strategy. We know what we want to measure. So because we measure it every quarter of the year, we know what we said here, is that the right approach or isn't it?
Do you have an example of such a number or a data point that you guys are tracking?
Yes, we have 4 pillars of our impact strategy. One of the pillars is yesterday I got the research results, and because we're an agency delivering services, our people are our most valuable resource. So we measure their work happiness, and that's something, in my opinion, something different than just are people happy with their job. Work happiness is more about work-life balance. Do they have a purpose? Do they have a job they can where they can grow and stuff like that? And we measure on autonomy, autonomy and purpose, and do they like their jobs during a daily business, and some other pillars, and we got an average of 8.7. So the average work happiness of our 16 employees is 8.7. I think that's a beautiful score.
I think market standard is around 8 or a little bit below 8, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And do you do the same measurements for like potential clients? Like, let's say a client, you have a lead on a client, and then you need to decide whether or not you want to have this client. Do you actually like measure them beforehand, or is it part of the process, or do you not do it like that with these data points for your clients?
No.
Okay.
No, we don't measure on before we start a new. But when we start a new project, we always say, this is our mission, this is our vision, this is how we want to work together with you. So that's in the quota phase. And people who really like us, they say, yeah, that's what I need, that's what I want to do. And people who don't want it, they don't sign our quota.
Yeah.
So
Right. So that's more of a core value thing, I guess.
Yeah. It manages itself.
So the same way you look for potential employees is quite a similar approach when also looking for companies to work with, right?
Okay.
You need to align on the core principles and the way of working and the beliefs.
Yeah, and I think because we have our mission, vision, and core values so clear and so straight, and we communicate so strong from our mission, vision, and that the process manages itself.
Yeah, correct. Naturally, people will gravitate with those values directly to you. That's really nice. Because we spoke briefly, we mentioned a lot now impact, and we've spoken before, and I know about the impact project and impact marketing. Can you tell us a bit more about that? How do you envision that? What does that actually entail?
Well, the company's mission is to make the new economy bigger than a traditional one by using marketing 3.0, and I can tell you that's a big job. So we have to tell our story to as many people as possible. And that's the reason we started the Impact Project, because there are a lot of companies, people, students, startups, small enterprises, or small businesses who don't have the budget to do or fully process. So we made our process smaller and more scalable and approachable for these target audiences. So we made an e-learning from our strategy part. So mission, vision, storytelling, impact, content marketing, and the whole marketing tactics and strategy plan. And we made a e-learning where people can fill out themselves, and we're going to help them via video. That's the basic. We can help them via workshops, and we can help them via one-on-one coaching.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. When you started explaining what Impact Project is, you mentioned quite some terms that probably some of our listeners won't be really familiar with, and that I would mostly think about the new economy and marketing 3.0. So I mean that just naturally goes into the discussion. Maybe for those who are not really aware, what does this mean? What is the new economy? What does the marketing 3.0 entail?
Yeah, in my vision, if you talk about the new economy, it's about people planning profit. So at the end, we're now reporting our financial data, but you also have to report on your impact you make on the environment and the impact you make on people. So yeah, they're all three. They're important. And the new economy is digital, circular, and sustainable. And we have to learn from how nature works. And if we refer it to IT, we should create a much more open source economy than a closed source economy.
Yeah.
So that's about my vision on the new economy. Marketing 3.0 is an invention of Philip Kotler, one of the biggest heroes of all time in marketing. And he says marketing 1.0 is really about product specs. So, for example, if you have a shoe, it's a white shoe. This is the size, and it's made from leather, and it's a good shoe. And even maybe it has a Nike logo on it. Marketing 2.0 is more about services. So if you have the same shoe, same day delivery, if you talk about web shops, and you can customize your shoes, what Nike does nowadays, so you can make it your own. And so it's more about the services you provide to your clients. How do you optimize your customer journey? What are the touch points? And that's really marketing 2.0. And marketing 3.0 is having a great product with all the great specs, delivering a great service, and also do something good for the world and integrate that in your process. For example, if you have the same shoes, you have Tom shoes. I'm not sure if you know the brand.
No, sorry.
The Tom shoes, it's just a regular brands, like there are thousands of shoe brands. And Tom shoe says every shoe you buy for yourself, we give one shoe to someone who needs it harder than we do. So that's one of the impact strategies you could pick, the buy one, give one method.
And that's that marketing 3.0, like, okay, we're going to do this. Okay.
Yeah. You have a great product, you also have a great service, and you do something good for the world.
So basically, if you're a company that is willing to implement marketing 3.0, they will need to have their mission, their vision, and their core values defined around that. Yeah,
that's the basics of the marketing 3.0 strategy: mission, vision, core values. And it's like really how do you connect on human values with your clients.
Right. It's quite all of that is quite difficult, right? I mean, there is a reason why profit has been sort of driving force, because it's quite easy to measure. Then the point is, the million dollar questions would be, okay, how do we measure all that impact? Because there is quite something that's the unexpected, what is it called? The unexpected consequence of whatever it is that you do. So you might be, for example, it's a well-known example. Like, let's say Henry Ford, he built the assembly line, which revolutionized car making. So maybe in the beginning they thought, oh, we're gonna build cars, but essentially what they built is something to transform the atmosphere of the whole Earth. So it's sort of the unintended consequences of whatever it is that we're doing. And also with these types of initiatives, it would be quite interesting and quite challenging, I guess, to define, okay, how good is it that we're doing? Like, you want to make impact. How do you know that the impact that you're making is a positive impact? Because essentially, I'm guessing that's what it means, right? Because you can also have negative impact. So how do we steer towards a positive impact?
Yeah. Well, I think the first step is your big goal, your mission, but then the next step is how are you going to measure the impact you make? And a lot of companies are making a negative impact. So how can you decrease your negative impact and increase your positive impact?
How you define what is negative and positive, right?
Yeah, but for example, if we say Shell makes a positive impact because they provide mobility, because they're gas, we can drive around the world. But the negative impact, it has a lot of CO2 emission. And Shell knows how much CO2 emission they're responsible for. And they can take actions to decrease their CO2 emissions. Yeah. And we use a model, an impact measurement. It's always a difficult topic because you if you do something now, you're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. But we use the theory of change, and that's a scientific model to make things measurable, not by saying if we do this will be tomorrow, but just to create a continuous feedback loop. Today, what I said today, is it still true tomorrow? Yeah. And that's where the theory of change is a great model to measure your impact.
Yeah, so it's an ongoing iterative approach. You're never done. You're basically updating it as you go. And I think also the whole definitions of what is impact and what is sustainability also evolves with that approach.
And how would you do that because you're a marketing company? Like, do you have a conversation with your clients like about what metrics you're going to be tracking and how are you going to improve on those? Like how does this collaboration look in practice?
Yeah, we always say it's a co-creation between what we do and what our client does. And we do it via design thinking method. So we ask the questions, everybody's writing stuff down on Post-its or nowadays digital Post-its, and we're going to discuss about it. And so we ask the client questions, they wrote it down on Post-its, we discuss about it, and that's the input for the theory of change.
Okay.
Because we're a marketing agency and not a research agency. So we work together with Alexander Impact, that's Impact Research Agency, and they check on scientific level the theory of changes we make for our clients.
Okay.
But maybe a good question is, why should we make, as a marketing agency, why should we care about impact measurement? And that's because why? And when I started a marketing agency in sustainability, the people had a lot of doubts because is it I'm not sure how you say it in English. Is it a green sausje? How do you say green?
I don't know, like put a green coat of paint on something, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. And in the business it's called greenwashing. So my biggest, I was afraid for greenwashing, because if you're a marketing agency and you do something with sustainability, at least you need a fair, transparent, and true story. So that's the reason we started doing impact measurement. on a data-driven approach, because that's what I learned with the online marketing stuff. You need to have a data-driven approach.
Yep.
And also, if you have the data and you can show to your clients, this is what we do for sustainability, this is how we measure it, this is our strategy, and this is what we're doing really good, but also we're not at good at this point, so communicate transparent with your clients. You always have a story, and whether you like it or not, these are the facts. So and I think that's really important, also in a new economy, to be transparent of what's good, what you're doing great, but also what you need to fix.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same for a lot of companies, right? When you have like the numbers, you take the emotion out of the equation, or like the gut feeling. You're really talking about, these are the numbers and this is what we're seeing, and then you can have a conversation that is based in reality rather than in people's feelings. So I think it's a great way to do things.
Thanks.
So your ambition is to become the best marketing agency in Europe, specialized in sustainability. Does that mean that you're already the best marketing agency in the Netherlands, or do you still have a long way to go?
Well, define the best.
Well, I mean, it's your ambition, right? So I'm just saying, like, okay, you're going for Europe, but maybe the Netherlands would be a good start. But so that's why I'm asking, like, are you already there, or?
Well, I'm not the person who says we're already there, because when I'm at that point, probably I'm not motivated anymore. So at this point, I'm very motivated. And as an agency, I only exist for 2.5 years. But I think if we look at marketing agencies and sustainability, we grow in 2.5 years from 0 to 16 people. I think we're on a good way. And we're absolutely based on knowledge, marketing approach to make it measurable, and also to tell a great and fair story. We're definitely one of the best agencies for marketing and sustainability in the Netherlands. And
all right, cool. And so you've mentioned, we mentioned that you're a world traveler, and I was meaning to ask you, like, how does being a world traveler fit into the whole sustainability thing, right? Because an airplane emits a whole lot of CO2. So I was just wondering, like, what's your take on that? Like, is there a way to be a world traveler in a sustainable way?
Well, it's never been my ambition to be the greenest boy of the classroom.
Okay.
And also, like we say in Holland, roomser dan de paus.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also eating meat and probably doing a lot of bad stuff, what not good. Now I'm also using plastic.
Yeah.
But at the end, we're all people, and we all need to do what we like. And traveling is one of my hobbies, and I really like to do it. Mm-hmm. And I made some decisions where I said, okay, I'm not going to take the plane. We go by car, for example. But if I want to travel to Asia, for example, I'm not going to say because of sustainability, I'm not taking the plane. And so it's and of course you have to lead by example. But and that's what I don't like about sustainability. If you say you're doing something for sustainability, you have to do everything good. Right. Yeah, I'm also just a person trying to do his best and on a mission to be the best possible agency for sustainability and stuff like that. Yeah, but I also like to live, and I like to add, if you, for example, a beer or whiskey. I like to drink a beer and whiskey nowadays. But beer and whiskey are not really sustainable products.
Right. You don't have to be a good boy all the time, basically.
Sometimes you have to be a bad boy to do something.
There is that part inside you, and not just you. I think everybody has it, and people can be in denial and say, and they want to portray themselves as good. But there is part of all of us that's that wants some of these things, right? And if it doesn't get them one way or another, they're gonna come out.
Yeah.
So make sure you feed your beast from time to time.
And so, speaking of bad boys, because
no, I'm speaking about myself as well.
Okay, Well, speaking of bad boys, right? I mean, because the listener probably doesn't know this yet, but I actually know Bart from like 15 or 16 years ago. Like we used to hang out together a little bit, right? Through a mutual friend. And I think you've shown me like one of your tattoos that you've got in, I think it was Thailand, but I could be wrong. Like it was on your foot or something. It was a really weird one. Could you help me remember what it was, or are you a bit embarrassed about it now?
When I started my travels, I said I want to have a tattoo, and I prefer the bamboo tattoo. But when you have to get your first tattoo and you're not really know what you want to have, but you have the ambition. That was the point. I was really drunk on a Thai beach, and I lost my friends, and I wanted back to the apartment. And then what's nice about Thailand, they're having people who are propping for getting a tattoo.
Right.
So they prop me to have a tattoo, and they said, "Yeah, would you draw something or write something down?" So I draw something, but I actually next day I forgot what was happened. So, but
As you should in Thailand.
afterwards the memories came back, and then said, and I wrote something down. He said, you have to write something down because I'm not a really good drawer at this moment. So that was one of the clear views I had at that point. But I wrote down Moi, and Moi is where we come from in Drenthe. It's how we greet each other, but also is me in France. And I really believe everything starts with you, and you have to respect where you come from. So that is what it stands for. And also there's a small heart on the eye, and that's for everyone who I love.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's kind of a weird story, but at the end, because it's a weird story, and I think it really, it tells my story, and I think that's important.
and that makes it unique. And I also know that you have a marathon-related tattoo, right? Like you've run some marathons, and I think you've actually tattooed the time of one of them on your body. Am I remembering this correctly?
Yeah, I have the 42.195, the distance
The
of the
distance it
marathon.
was, yeah, okay,
I
that
have
was
it
it.
on my leg, and
Yeah.
it was when I finished my first marathon. I got it tattooed.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? Doing a whole marathon, it's a pretty good achievement, I think. I mean, I don't think many people can say that, so yeah, that's definitely nice.
It's a long run.
Yeah. So should we maybe talk a little bit about the Minister of New Economy in the Netherlands? Or do you want to touch on something else? I don't know, Panche, maybe you have a different question, or?
Yeah. Well, staying with our time slot, because I know that Bart, you're busy, you don't have much of time. So like maybe it's a nice segue from tattoos towards politics.
I also have a tattoo of 10 stripes on my arm. It was my latest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about bad boys and stuff, right? So, bad boys got some tattoos. And bad boys can become minister, I guess.
Yeah. So
I think the politics needs a bit more bad boys, but with a good heart and a great soul.
maybe it needs more good boys, but I don't know. We leave that to to the listeners. But you've been participating in these elections. Called the Minister of the New Economy in the Netherlands, and you went through the couple of rounds there, I think. And can you tell us a bit more what it is and how did the process go so far, and what are you trying to achieve, and what would you do if you were chosen to be the Minister of the New Economy?
Yeah. Well, the journey all started. It's an initiative from MVO Nederland. It's a company who connects people with a new economy mindset, and it's something you can compare to the nachtburgemeester.
Yeah.
So the Minister of the New Economy, he has to say something in The Hague, but it's not an official title. But when they opened you can write, how do you say, inschrijven voor je moest je inschrijven.
Subscribe.
Yeah, so you sign
Yeah,
up.
it's free. Subscribe.
Yeah.
Something like 5 people texted me, Bart, you have to do this, you have to do this, because it's really something for you. And I think that's because the mission of TenStripes is to make the new economy bigger than a traditional one. So yeah, it was something for me. And then
So
I
you
said,
were already
okay,
chosen by others to do this.
yeah, exactly. And so I subscribed, and I wrote my 10 big points, what's really important, and my vision about the new economy. Like I said, the new economy is digital, it's circular, and it's sustainable. And I also made 10 points, and I tried to make it as concrete as possible. And the big thing, what my pitch was during the whole story, was to start with a vision, mission, and core values for our economy.
Which
And
are? Could you say a few of those? Like, because I'm sure that you did some campaigning for your spot as Minister of New Economy. So how is it that you profile yourself? If you would
well,
speak to people on the street or something?
for example, if we something like 20 years ago, one of the core values of the Netherlands and maybe the Dutch economy was tolerance. But are we still that tolerant at this point? I'm not sure about that. And also, what I really like about the Dutch economy was it's very innovative. But is the Dutch economy, are we still that innovative? Because we have our polder, the delta werken, stuff like that. We never had a great invention of that kind of size anymore. And I think as a group of people and with an entrepreneurial mindset, we are as Dutchies capable of inventing the new economy. But we have to start with our biggest goal, and I think we have to create our biggest export product, what should be the new economy, to being really innovative and combining the people, planet, profit philosophy into our economy.
So how many candidates were originally subscribed to for people to vote?
Over 200.
Over 200, and then there 20 remained, and you were one of those 20, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the final were 21 candidates, and I was one of the 21 candidates. And last Friday, I did a pitch for the jury, and in the jury report it was a really hard decision for them. And I heard all the different pitches. Right? You had the time to do a 2-minute pitch for the jury, and all the candidates, they had such a passionate story and a lot of drive, and everyone's really motivated to do their own thing and tell their own story. And that was a lot of energy coming from all these 21 people, and I can imagine it was a really hard decision for the jury, and that was also written in the jury report, that all the 21 candidates were on the top 3 list. And at the end, the jury picked someone with some political and media experience, and who can be the spokesman to the media and the politics from as the Minister of the New Economy.
Oh, so
Relating to the bad boy story, I can imagine they didn't pick me.
all right, so
Well,
the
I'm not so
decision has
sure.
been made, right? So there is now a new Minister of New Economy? Because
Now, there are that's
3.
a good question. There are 3 people who are in the final. And next Monday, the 25th of January, they are going to a debate with some politicals, and then the jury combined with the voice of the people who are watching the debate. Then the new Minister of the New Economy will be there.
Oh, I mean, I would imagine that doing a 2-minute pitch in front of a jury, that's quite difficult to convey your message across, right?
But every good message is short.
Well, perhaps. But did you? I'm curious, because you said you listened to everybody, to the other 20 candidates.
Yeah.
Were there things that you thought, oh wow, this is a really great idea, or something that you completely didn't see coming, or people that are talking about completely revolutionary things, or
Um,
were they more in line also with your own thinking, or
that was what I was thinking about. It was everything is said. I knew already. Yeah, there was one thing. What was really interesting, if you look into data and or financial system, that our current financial system is built on grow. And if we have about all the debts in the world, and we have to you have to pay your debts back. The worldwide economy has to grow with 3%. Otherwise, we can't pay it back. But if you look into the resources in the world, we can't grow with 3%. That would say in one generation we have to double our economy, and there is not enough resources
To do that.
to make that possible.
Yeah.
So there is an end on the growth of our economy.
so was this also part of a specific pitch then?
Yeah, it was someone who worked for his whole life in the financial sector.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
And did this whole project of becoming minister, did it bring anything extra for you in terms of like maybe opening up new networks or bringing in new potential clients, or anything tangible for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It brings a new network, and it's good for the branding of me as a person, and also for my company. So that's really
But that's like a
valuable.
secondary benefit, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But the thing I like the most is if you have looked at all the pitches, everyone said we have to do it together. And we have now a LinkedIn group where all the 21 candidate ministers are in one group, and it's really an active group, and we're talking about ideas, and we're starting how can we make things more concrete together, and what's everyone's role in that new kind of ministry. And after when the new minister is there, we're going to start to figure out what steps can we take and what can we do as a group to make a process and to drive all the energy into the new economy.
So it would be like sort of acting in a support council for the new minister then.
Yes.
It's kind of the oh, that's really great then.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Oh,
cool.
that's really good.
Yeah.
What do you think would be this new minister's biggest challenge?
To make things happen in the current politics.
Like
Yeah.
let's say you would have won, right? Do you think you would have had the time to actually, try and influence like The Hague? I guess because that's, I guess, is what the goal is, right? To influence The Hague into taking certain decisions. Like, but I can imagine it's going to take a lot of time to rub people the right way and all that kind of stuff. Do you think you could actually have done it if you would have won?
Of course. We never know.
Until you do it.
No, that
Because you have your own company. Because I can imagine, having your own company is already a huge commitment in terms of time and stuff like that. And so, a role like this to go with that. I mean, I don't know, man. It would seem to me like a lot of work.
yes, absolutely. And to be honest, I don't know what the rule exactly will be. But having the title and do something and talk to the right people, yeah, of course. With the right energy, the right enthusiasm and good ideas, you can always do something and reach your goals. And but you have to put a lot of energy in it to make something happen. That's what I learned from starting a company. If I don't do anything, nothing will happen.
No, but it feels like everybody's winning if you guys have agreed to act as a group and have one representative, which is the chosen representative, and then you can feed him ideas. It helps that person also, and it helps this whole idea of the Minister of the New Economy take some grounds, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a hopeful sentiment in the end. Seeing that we're almost through our time.
Yeah. I had one more question though for you, because like I've looked at your TenStripes website, of course, And I've looked up your profile there, and there it says like you want to swap for a day with Steve Jobs. But I mean, Steve Jobs is dead, right? So what? How do you envision that swap to be? Like, do you want to check out heaven, or do you actually want to just be head of Apple for a day?
Well, heaven, I hope it's a nice place. I don't know. I'm not ready for heaven, but for one day, yeah.
Yeah, why
No,
not?
it's. I read a lot of Steve Jobs and how he transforms the business of laptops, computers, but also how he transformed the music industry, the phone, mobile phone industry, and who was willing to change also how we learn things, schools and universities and stuff
Yep.
like that, and how he combines his great vision and make it happen with on such a big scale as Apple. I would really know how is that for a day to
Yeah.
be such an important person with a lot of influence and power to do something.
All right. Well, it's a nice way to close it out, I guess.
Hope you find that out for yourself
yeah.
and you figure that out for yourself, Bart, without having to swap with somebody else.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Bart, I want to thank you very much, Ben. It's been a pleasure seeing you again after 15 years. Hope to see you again. Maybe you could be another guest on another episode, in a few weeks or a few months, depending on the subject. Would you be down for that?
Yeah, I would love to. Absolutely. It was
All right.
nice being a guest of the show, and I will share the podcast to my network to you get more followers. So,
All right. That would be
thank you
great,
then.
man. Well, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure having you. Panche, thank you as well, man. It's a pleasure having you here as well.
Thank you for being our host every week.
Yeah. Well, it's my pleasure as well. And of course, I want to thank the listener for checking in upon another Scoutcast. This time we've been roasting marshmallows with Bart Joling of TenStripes. Be sure to check out their website. I was going to say vote for him to become the new Minister of Economy, but that ship has sailed, I guess. But still, he's in there.
Just vote for the new economy. That will be great.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Everyone vote for the new economy. It sounds like a good idea. All right. Well, if you have any suggestions or feedback for us, then please send us an email at podcast@4scouts.nl, or you can send us a message on Twitter. That's @4scouts. And thanks again to my guests, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Scoutcast, Roasting Marshmallows, with your host, Rolf Surd. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit 4scouts.nl and on Twitter @4scouts. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on Scoutcast, Roasting Marshmallows.